There we go. All right. Had my mic input changed to the wrong one there just really briefly, guys. We are live. Thank you so much for being tuned in. Really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Let me roll that, jump out of the way, and we'll take a look at... actually, no, I'm not going to do my bumper. Let's jump straight into the Fear and Greed Index. Fear and Greed Index is showing us right now a score of 21. So we're still in the category of extreme fear, guys. Thank you so much. Let me just mention, thank you so much for being aware that occasionally in the comment section, there are scammers. I had to literally just delete something from the live comments right now because the scammers on YouTube are so rampant. The bot attacks, the auto commenting attacks, they're everywhere. There are a lot of scammers. They're after your Bitcoin. They're after all of your cryptocurrencies, anything that you hold, they're going to try to take from you. So be very cautious of anything that you see in the comment section. The comment section soliciting that you follow them somewhere or that you check out some Telegram group or that you go to a WhatsApp number. Just ignore it, right? Don't engage with it at all. Don't comment, don't like, don't dislike, don't even touch it. We'll go through and we'll try to remove those as fast as we can. But that's a serious problem in today's crypto scene. But Fear and Greed Index, guys, we're back at a score of 21, still in the extreme fear range. Pretty awesome stuff. Again, typically without offering you any kind of legal, financial, or business advice, this tends to be a counter indicator. That's how I view it, is as a counter indicator. It just shows you that everybody else is feeling a certain way. It doesn't tell you what to do with that information, but it does kind of measure the sentiment across Twitter and across Reddit, showing that people are feeling a certain way. And when I see that other people are very fearful, it makes sense to me to become more bullish, getting more involved in mining, and getting more involved in purchase opportunities and value averaging into some of the coins that I like, because I'll see some things that are on sale, and when everybody else is afraid means they're selling, I can probably buy some of their bags, or again, mine with higher rewards. We saw coming out of China some of the shutdown of mining in the Chinese markets. It's just being exported, basically, guys, by any other name. Just an export of mining operations from China to other places. And covered that in an interview with Crypto's Chain. If you haven't seen that one, you can check out his channel and the interview we did there. A little more involved and more in-depth answer to that. Extreme fear, though, guys, 21. And since the last time we did this report, we've been moving sideways in the 20s as far as the sentiment for the markets. This is a big deal. We haven't gotten above. The sort of like general just fear side of the Fear and Greed Index. We're back in extreme fear, but we haven't gotten out of the fear range for quite some time. So just like the price action, just like the markets themselves ranging sideways as people kind of gain interest, or as they kind of fall out, or as they're pulled back in by different improvement proposals from projects like Ethereum promising to become more deflationary. More news on that very soon, guys, after we see 1559 actually roll out. I'm reserving judgment right there, but it looks like in general the market is full of fear. Francisco asks, where is the Fear and Greed Index? Well, this is on alternative.me, and they create a crypto Fear and Greed Index for your benefit. I'm going to throw that into the live comments right now. You have a link right there directly to this resource that you see me covering on a regular basis. And if you wanted to have this widget right here embedded, then you can do so. These are free resources, guys. Everything that I'm showing you is public info. It's freely available info that you can look up, just like blockchain, right? All of the information in blockchain is basically transparent and public for the most part, using block explorers and such. But that's the Fear and Greed Index for the day, guys. Let's look at what to mine. Go over to our Bitcoin mining calculator as well in just a minute here. But on what to mine, we can see right now the price of Bitcoin is 33,000. We're down from before. Price of Ethereum is up over 2,000. So again, they're kind of decoupled, kind of decorrelated now. It looks like Ethereum is doing its own thing based on its own improvement schedule. So those who are Ethereum loyalists are going to be paying attention to that. Those of us who are kind of honed in on the stock to flow model or the rainbow chart for Bitcoin, we're going to be paying attention to that more so than improvement proposals coming out of the Ethereum camp. For those of us who are mining Ethereum, we're going to have our different reasons for doing that as well, right? We may be doing it just to grow our Bitcoin bag by having more trading collateral, and we may be doing it just because or because we want to get into DeFi. All kinds of reasons for being involved in Ethereum. I'm not going to tell you that you should or shouldn't be involved with it. Just saying they're not totally correlated at this point. In the comment section, section, guys, want to shout out Philip Kong and want to shout out Ricardo, who's saying greetings from Germany and thanks for all your videos. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Philip says, no fear here. I've been dollar cost averaging this sale every time I get my paycheck. That is awesome. Glad to hear that, guys. If you're interested in dollar cost averaging, then I am using Swan Bitcoin. I think it's a really great way to go. I do a pretty regular DCA myself, and I use Swan Bitcoin for that. Is it a KYC service? Yes, it is, but it's extremely convenient what they offer, because they not only allow you to dollar cost average into Bitcoin, but then to automatically pay out to your own hardware wallet using an XPub key. That's what sold me on Swan Bitcoin, was the fact that I could automatically self-custody and that they would automatically rotate addresses based on an XPub key that I give them, so that there's not any one address that receives all of the Bitcoin payouts. So it's a much more private way to use a service like Swan Bitcoin or Cash App. I wish they did that too. And then Bitwage. In interviewing or in talking to one of the principals at Bitwage a while back, I asked them if they would do that. They initially had that kind of functionality built into Bitwage, but it broke and then they never replaced it. So hopefully they'll make that change in the future. Anyway, getting off on a little bit of a tangent there, but like Philip is saying, I don't feel fearful either. It's a really good counter indicator, though, showing what everybody else is feeling. So it shows, I think, like you're saying, validates that dollar cost average strategy or a value average strategy right now. If you just want to occasionally look for when it's below a certain threshold, right? Put in your orders below a certain threshold. I think that's a really, it's kind of a no-brainer in my opinion. Again, guys, not financial advice, but we've been around the block a couple times, seen some of these markets and seen what they can do moving into Q3 and Q4 of a run-up like we saw in 2017. In my opinion, being the most risky thing right now is not having any position in any cryptocurrencies, and certainly not paying attention and being respectful of what Bitcoin can do by the end of this cycle. Anyway, rant over. Let's look at some of the mining profitability for GPUs. As we looked at last time, there's a GPUs tab that What to Mine offers here, but it's not totally complete and it does not show the averages that I like to show. I like to show a 3 or 7 day average. They show just the 24-hour average here, and then they show you a top 3 list for those cards. Very bottom of the stack for profitability in general based on 24 hours is the GTX 1050 Ti, and then a close second for that number, that last spot, that loser spot, is the R9 380 by AMD. These are old cards, guys. These are not new cards. This is not new hardware. These are cards that are years old. So the fact that they're mining profitably at all is a pretty big deal. Guys, to everybody who's watching right now live, just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being subscribed, hitting the bell icon. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up, and thank you for sharing this video so we get even more comments and even greater conversation as we go. Again, this is live, so you have a unique opportunity for us to be very interactive. Sam, thank you for giving me the peace sign there down in the comment section. Really appreciate that. And David Lee, good to see you too. So I'll shout you guys out as you come on in. Thank you for sharing. Really appreciate it. Jumping back into the stacked ranking, it's only 24 hours, so I don't think it tells us the whole story, but let's take a look over 24 hours to see what the usual suspects are over here in terms of the coins that are profitable to mine. Ethereum, high on the list. And then got Autolycos for the Ergo coin. CryptoMine says, sad I came in late. Well, CryptoMine, better late than never. Appreciate seeing you here. Thanks for saying hello in the comment section. And I've got Raven as well. Ergo, high on the list. Raven, Mimblewimble coin, again, kind of an oddball. I didn't expect to see that, but it's been a couple of times that I've seen Mimblewimble coin here. But Ethereum and Ergo and Raven coin, very high on the list. Ethash or ETC, I think for our lower spec cards, some of our lower spec cards and our 4 gig cards here as we get lower on the list. And then Eternity with a cuckoo cycle on the 2080. Wasn't expecting that. Eternity on 2070. Firo on the 1080 Ti, Firo on the 1080, Firo on the 1070 Ti and the 1070, the 1660. Interesting. There's something about a couple of these models that tends to really favor clearly Firo and then Ethereum Classic and Eternity on cuckoo cycle there. But then as we get into lower spec cards with 4 gigs only, we see, of course, Ethereum Classic, Ravencoin, and Ergo. We've totally been edged out of being able to mine Ethereum on that. But then Vertcoin as well, down on our lowest spec cards. kind of really a pleasant surprise, guys. Don't often see Vertcoin as being one of the most profitable things to mine. So interesting, even on just a 24-hour time frame there. Let's jump back into the more averaged out numbers, guys. Again, the idea that you can mine the dip is just bogus. You mine averages. You never mine the dip, so to speak. You can mine when we're ranging sideways like this and help yourself stack rewards for when price action goes back up, but you never mine the dip, so to speak. You are always mining averages based on payouts and then deciding what you want to do with the resulting coins after the fact. But it is functionally, it's like a dollar cost average strategy, guys. That's what mining is. It's a dollar cost average strategy where you're paying for power and then you're getting a subsidy on the coins that you get based on your hash rate. It's kind of a big deal because you get a discount on your dollar cost average, but it is really just a dollar cost average. If your payouts are 24 hours even, it's just a daily dollar cost average. So let's jump into the highest spec right here, 3090, 2080 Ti, 1660S, and 1080 Ti. They're already highlighted, so let's go ahead. Cost for power, we're going to go with 12 cents. And if you're new to the show, here's why I choose 12 cents. Here in the United States, the average across the entire United States is 14 cents per kilowatt hour paying for power. I know that might sound like excessive if you're in a market where you're getting a really good deal like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 cents per kilowatt hour, and you're thinking that's about as much as I'm willing to pay. That's awesome if you can do that. The average for the United States is 14 cents, and there are some markets in which it is really high, like 22 or even 25 cents in US dollar values there. It's a bit like mining in Germany where the US dollar equivalent of power is close to that 22 or 25 cents per kilowatt hour range. It's ridiculous in some areas. What to Mine shows you 10 cents per kilowatt hour as a baseline. And I figured, I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to make it 12 cents. We're not going all the way up to 14. We're just going to go with 12. And instead of using a 24-hour average, I use 3 or 7 days average. You tell me in the comment section whether or not you think that's a sound way of doing it, but I just think you can't escape the averages. We have real world constraints that sometimes force us to mine at an average pace or move at an average performance level. So far better for us to just respect those constraints, pay attention to them when we're looking at our data models, and then we'll be more prepared to make better choices, right? So that's my rationale. Philip Kong says, I've been mining Haven on 8 of the RX 574 gig cards. Literally about half the miners or workers are gone. I've been struggling, wanting to switch those leftover cards to Ethereum Classic. What to do? Hey, that is really kind of an issue. And we're going to talk a bit in this episode about the news coming out of Haven. In fact, now you bring it up, why don't I go ahead and switch directly to that, guys? I just want to, we'll come back to our mining performance in just a second here. But I mentioned that as a bit of the headline news for this episode, because if you're not familiar with Haven Protocol, the Haven Network, they are at this point, almost a legacy project. They came out of the most recent bull run before this one. After 2018, 2019, they were active with their first dev team, creating something called offshore banking, digital offshore banking. And the Crypto Mind says, whew, didn't miss the XHV news. Yeah, hey, here's the thing. It's a pretty important project. What they're trying to work on is a pretty big deal. And I've got some other thoughts about how we can achieve the kind of privacy that they want users to have, but that's for a different time. Right now, I just want to basically have a show of solidarity with the Haven team. I've interviewed both teams, the original core developers, and then when they left, the second group of core developers and community managers. So this is a project I've been tracking since very early in its life. And, it makes me really sad to see projects hit really big, really turbulent times. But when they have the development talent and the goodwill of a community, then they can sometimes make it through. Just wanted to say, that's why it's so important to me to cover this news. Let me jump out of the way and show you what they said in their Discord server. Word for word. Maddie K says, Haven conversion exploit report. This morning, the dev team became aware of 2 suspicious transactions in the Explorer. A meeting was called immediately and the team investigated the cause. After some initial exploration, we found a vulnerability that has been exploited twice in the last 3 days. Now, this was as of June 28th, so a few days ago, resulting in the minting of a number of counterfeit coins. This explains the unusually high selling volume on KuCoin. This is an exceptional situation and it has required an unprecedented response. It is not possible to share all the details at this stage, but you should be aware that we've taken the following actions. One, disabled exchange wallets. And guys, this is always the number one thing. Ethereum Classic had to do this when they were hacked and it was discovered, or 51% attacked, and it was discovered that they had some funds disappear. Same with Bitcoin Gold. Any 51% attack where there's a successful double spend almost always results in disabling exchange wallets. These centralized exchanges can do that, right? It's a risk because you may be a good actor and see that your funds are frozen on exchange, but so are the bad guys, hopefully before they can rinse all of those funds. So this is not unprecedented, guys. But then two, deactivated conversions in user wallets. For a privacy-oriented coin with privacy clients and no third-party wallets, this is where there's a little bit of an issue, a little bit of a concern. It means that the developers are the only wallet developers as well. The core protocol developers are the only wallet developers as well. So it's a little bit of an issue when it comes to decentralization, and there's more. There's more. Again, Haven team and Haven community, I hope you're watching, because you know that when I bring up some of these points that are concerns for me, it's out of love. I want to see you win. I want to see you develop your way out of this, right? I want to see you do better, be better, become the best possible version of yourself and your project that you can be. Okay, so just want to disclaim that as clearly as possible. I'm not out here to pick winners. I'm not out here to kick losers, air quotes, while they're down. Just here to kind of bring some news and then bring some of my opinion as well. So let me jump out of the way, finish this up. So the deactivated conversions and user wallets, that means that they are the ones controlling the only wallets that people are using. Not always the best look for a decentralized project. Frozen suspect accounts on KuCoin. Now, when you see unusually high volume, this is where the argument for custodial services come in, guys. This is why Coinbase basically took over and became synonymous with Bitcoin for a couple of years in the minds of most new users being onboarded. The centralized services, they offer a bit of the security blanket that's very friendly to regulatory oversight, and it's very friendly to the old guard of banking institutions and traditional finance. They're very familiar with this because they want to be able to shut down the accounts of bad actors. Now, in the crypto space, we view bad actors as people who, air quotes, steal funds by finding exploits in a code base that governs the issuance of coins. Of course, in the old days of blockchain and of Bitcoin and of cryptocurrencies in general, we just viewed that as a bounty that they won. Kind of hard to argue, right? If you're going to say that code is governing your coin emissions and that, air quotes, code is law, well, when those people use code in a way that you just didn't expect, they're obeying your laws. They're just obeying your laws better than you can, right? I mean, I think that's kind of at the end of the day what they're doing. They're just more expert at the game that you set the rules for through code. So it's kind of, in my mind, it's kind of a tough thing to argue. It's a very tough thing to argue. And because there's not any kind of like a corporate structure or any kind of intellectual property at play where you can say, wait a second, we are the intellectual property owners of every single one of the coins emitted from this network, then you don't have any legal, like any legislators jumping in to say, all right, well, we're going to come in, we're Mr. Government, we're going to come and help you guys out. We're going to save you from all these bad actors, right? Like it's kind of a weird thing. It's kind of a gray area, right? Like, do we really want that level of oversight from government actors? Probably not. That's probably not why we're involved in cryptocurrency. I mean, we're not like whatever, all revolutionaries or whatever. We just wanted to do something different. And the moment we ask them to get involved, we're no better than them. And all the other influences that made the traditional finance and banking institutions so corrupt infiltrate our beloved crypto. Right? We're in a very weird catch-22. You'd have to be crazy. You'd have to be crazy to want to do it. If you're sane, you would just choose something else, right? Literal catch-22. If you were totally sane, you'd say like, you know what? I don't have the stomach for this. I'm going to like get wrecked doing this. I know I will because I'm in the Wild West. Code is law here. Laws don't necessarily apply in the same way because I haven't applied myself to fitting into that system. I'm trying to create a brand new system from scratch, from thin air. So when we take to centralized exchanges to help protect our interests when it comes to hacks like these, we haven't quite fully embraced the devil, but we're definitely shaking his hand, so to speak. It's a tough thing. It's a really tough thing to reconcile in my mind, ideologically, to just say like, oh yeah, totally. We contacted the centralized exchanges and they shut them down. Because, you know, the man is going to take care of those bad guys. Oof. What do we become, right? We're becoming not much better than the old guard, than the old systems that we're trying to replace. So just throwing it out there. But they had to do something in response because everybody said, wait a second, we're stakeholders, we're bag holders, we're miners, we're invested in this network. Keep us interested. How do you do that? You got to take some actions, and they took some, just giving some counterpoint. When we deal in cryptocurrencies, we've got to be okay with the good, the bad, the ugly. This is one of those risks. It just happens, and it happens to good projects. It's happened to Bitcoin in years past, right? Hidden inflation bugs and 51% attacks. Yes, they existed. Go back on the record. Bitcointalk.org is your friend, and then search through all of the threads. Bitcoin was not immune to these kinds of problems earlier on in its life. So, just to say. All right, so they froze the suspect accounts on KuCoin. The entire team has been working to mitigate the impact in every way possible. The rationale behind these decisions is as follows. And here's where it matters, guys. When they tell you their frame of reference, then at least you can understand why they made the choices they did. They said exchanges. We've instructed exchanges to close wallets to prevent anyone from profiting from the exploit and to stabilize the situation. Conversions. We've disabled the pricing oracle to prevent any further conversions between XHV, XUSD, and other X assets. This was also necessary because the XHV price is invalid when the exchanges are closed. Disabling the oracle will also mean the USD price summary will not show in the web and desktop wallets. Frozen accounts. KuCoin are supporting us in our investigation and actively freezing suspicious accounts. During Haven's journey over the past 2+ years, the project has overcome many obstacles and challenges. We are fully committed and confident that we will do the same again and come out stronger on the other side. It bears mentioning when I spoke with Pierre from this project last year, he mentioned that as they brought the offshoring functionality online, the ability to peg to XUSD, that within the first couple of days, there was a very intelligent participant who jumped in and was able to extract 5 figures worth of value. I think it might have been more. It might even be 6 figures worth of a USD equivalent value by arbitraging within their own automated system internally. And it functioned almost like an inflation bug, the way that this person appreciated it, or the way that they approached it. And at Pierre's take on it at that time, and I think the core leadership's take from Havencoin at that time, was that, hey, they got away with it. We're going to call it a bounty, right? A bug bounty. They got what they got. We're moving forward. Maybe this exploit is just too big for them to ignore this time around. And so it's so destabilizing with the price action that they feel they've got to go this direction this time. But just to say, this team didn't take this action last time something like this happened. Just for the record, I keep the receipt, right? And Pierre was on the show, can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. I'll see if I can link to that interview down in the description after I'm done with this live stream. But just coming to mind now, that's what Pierre said to me on our interview. So not the same response this time around. I think that because they've got exchange listings and they've got a little bit more intense community involvement now, maybe heavier bags, right, in terms of USD value. That could be why. Going back through the comments here, guys, I've got Crypto Man says Blind Run's video yesterday discussing the ability to reverse transactions was really interesting. I haven't seen Blind Run's video yet, guys. Obviously, Son of a Tech is just phenomenal. I got the utmost respect for him and the amount of research that he does for his videos and the preparation. Just love the guy's media to pieces. Work ethic is second to none. Absolutely his number one fan. And you can ask him when he took a break from YouTube in the private DMs that we had about that. I was caging for him to come back into the scene. I missed some of his videos and some of his media. Just a phenomenal guy. But let's see. Ricardo says crypto was created because the governments or other institutions have no impact on this. For any other actor, have no impact. Obviously not good. Crypto Man goes back to say, like Seth mentioned, you have to accept the negatives that come with the freedoms, we are given with cryptocurrency. Totally true. Guys, this is dangerous freedom. It's not just freedom, it's dangerous freedom. When we describe it as like the Wild West, we mean that you're responsible for your own well-being and you take risks, and risks have consequences, and we can't guarantee equal outcomes for everyone, because that's what real freedom is opportunity, not equality of outcome, right? So including exploits, hacks, and unfortunate things, bad things happening to good people. Part of the territory. He says you'll quickly see who will take responsibility for their actions versus attempting to blame others. Yeah, and I appreciate they leaned in immediately and came up with some kind of a response here. Mir Andrew says, hey. Hey there. Thanks for saying hello. And Dweeb jumps in and says, everyone, do not buy OTC coins, any OTC coins. For now, XHV should be considered compromised. And that's important for me to amplify here. XHV should be considered compromised. Not my words, the team leadership's words. Should be considered compromised. Don't buy OTC. That's their request of you. We have a fix available, but must fork to deploy it. Please do not assume that buying coins now, OTC, will benefit you in any way. So they may be doing a coin fork at a specific block height prior to the exploit. And that's what I'm reading between the lines, guys. When he says, don't go buying OTC coin because it won't benefit you, that tells me there's going to be a rollback in the form of a fork at a certain block height. So not so much a rolling back the chain as much as forking from a specific block height, which functions as a rollback. Mir Andrew says, big fan, love your work. Hey, really appreciate that. Thanks so much for the kind remarks there. Philip says, on the plus side, with half the miners gone, my payouts have doubled. Hey. Yes, sir. Definitely worth us taking a look at that. I'm going to go back over to the GPU profits for the day, and we will very, very soon, guys. Really appreciate you guys being on board for this kind of like live news report. I'm really digging the live streaming again, guys. Can you tell me in the comment section, is this nice having this level of interactivity and being able to ask questions, make remarks, have me mention your remarks, give you shout outs and such? I'm enjoying this, guys. I really have missed this. This has been a lot of fun. But you tell me down in the comments section or in the live stream comments, is this preferable to when I pre-record the mining market signal? Do you prefer it? Let me know. But jumping out of the way, Dweeb says, yep, please do not assume that buying coins now, OTC will benefit you in any way. Give as many thumbs ups as I can to that. Guys, that tells me they're going to roll back to a previous chain state, though, previous block height. And then Ahawk says, hi, everyone. The last 72 hours have been challenging as we've worked to piece together and unpack all the details of the recent exploits in our protocol. It has required the complete focus of the development team, substantial communication with affected exchanges, and working with investigators. We thank you for your patience while they work. We understand the frustrations of the community, but please be assured the entire team is completely focused right now on getting us back on track. We are making good progress and will soon release a fully detailed report and mitigation plan. Thanks again for everyone's patience. We're fortunate to have such a strong and supportive community to get us through challenges like this. Haven's future is bright. Please keep an eye out for further announcements. Guys, what can I say? Philip Kong says, I like this format. You should have thousands more subscribers. Well, Philip, I appreciate you saying that. I think that's probably true. I did have an agent tell me the other day that they thought I was being SH banned. I can't even say it out loud because the algorithms will pick up on the words, but he thought that I was being some things were maybe being suppressed there. So in his estimation, I should already be at like close to 50 to 100,000 subscribers. I appreciate that you're here right now. I appreciate you guys are subscribed, liking this content, sharing it out to other people, and asking such great questions. You're the reason I make this media. So let's see. I think that they're doing things right here. I think that they've been very responsible about the amount they've disclosed in terms of the exploit, and they don't when it comes to giving any kind of any kind of responsible disclosure for problems like this. It kind of makes sense to keep it as simple as possible. You don't necessarily, here's the exact in-depth, let's show out, let's detail for you exactly how you can exploit it now too, because this exploit isn't patched yet. You can't go telling everybody exactly how the exploit was committed, because you're going to get a ton of copycats coming in and trying to do the same thing over the next week or 2 weeks. And before long, the project is just a hollow shell, right? It's a husk of what it used to be, and there's no value left. You can't develop anymore because the thing is just like destroyed from so many bad actors having, air quotes, bad actors having their way with it. Now, that said, once they do find out what the problem is and they talk about how to mitigate it moving forward, it seems obvious to me that they're going to roll back to a previous block height and just fork from that point and say, all right, now we got it. Like, this is when it's going to happen. In the meantime, the fact that there was some reversibility of transactions, the fact that the Oracle was able to be shut down on a moment's notice, the fact that users' wallets were affected directly, they weren't able to use like a previous version of the wallet to just peg their coins. I mean, that kind of goes counter to the mission and purpose of Haven. If people can't peg, even paying the fees that are typically applied when people peg their Haven coins natively to XUSD or some other stable peg, that's kind of a bummer, right? This would be the perfect example as to why somebody would want to deal with pegging their value to a stable currency. So bummer, right? Everybody who's holding Haven is now a literal bag holder. Can't really do much because they're telling you don't buy OTC, so you can't really sell OTC. Whew. Not an easy thing to fix. Jumping back into the GPU mining profits, let's start with our top of the line. We got the 1080 Ti all the way up through the 3090 and including the 1660S. We're at 12 cent power and profitability of 7 days with a volume filter of over 5 Bitcoin daily volume. We need that volume, guys, because if everybody who watched this video decided to mine one of these smaller coins with less than 5 Bitcoin volume, we would wreck those coins, wouldn't we? Like, we're talking about like exploiting smaller projects, relatively speaking, smaller projects. We would destroy coins if they had less than 5 Bitcoin. It's anyway, yeah. We have to be responsible stewards of GPU mining profits. If we go wrecking, like strangling the goose that lays the golden egg, we don't get any more golden eggs. So scrolling down, we got Ethereum, top of the stack, 1357. It's up just a little bit from before. About half of that hash rate is going to go, and the reward as well is going to go to the 3090. Also high on the list is Ethereum Classic, Ravencoin, Firo, and Ergo. We go a little farther down the list there. All worthy projects. Ergo we'll talk more about in a future live stream. I know that Son of a Tech, or Blind Run over at Son of a Tech, has covered Ergo just a bit. I'd like to explore it a bit myself. Also going to be creating some Polkadot content of all things in the near future. You guys let me know what you understand about Polkadot and Kusama, and tell me what you want to learn about Polkadot and what you want to learn about some of those other proof of stake options. Of all of the proof of stake networks that I've looked at so far, the two that impressed me the most are Polkadot and Solana. They're hard to ignore. They're making waves. They've got investors interested, I think, because they actually have some really great working product right now. So I'm excited to learn more about it. It doesn't affect us directly as GPU miners, but it does affect us indirectly in terms of our ability to move from Ethereum and EVM compatible coins over into EVM compatible contracts on other networks like Polkadot and Solana. And I'm kind of talking high level there, but we'll get a little more low level later on and talk more about like what that means for us mining on GPUs natively on Ethereum and EVM compatible coins, and how we move into Solana and Polkadot. So Crypto Man says, so let's go. Hey, I appreciate that and I agree. So we'll get there sooner than later, but not today. Sorry, guys. Anyway, these are really great projects right here. Ethereum Classic, I don't know what's developing there. I mean, can you imagine what if Ethereum Classic became like the real Ethereum again? First off, it is the longest chain, right? It is the longest chain. It is technically an older, more legacy chain than Ethereum, right? So technically it's the original Ethereum. What if it became like the successor to Ethereum with EIP, with EIP 1559 and all these hard forks that are scheduled, and then moving to proof of stake, right? The merge from Beacon Chain. What if Ethereum Classic actually became the new Ethereum? What if all of the smart contracts, all the EVM work that's been done, and all the various AMMs like Uniswap, etc., what if they all totally just said, like, you know what, shine it. This proof of stake stuff is for the birds. This doesn't work for us anyway. We're going over to Ethereum Classic. What would that take? I mean, you tell me in the comment section, guys. What do you think about that? It's just as a thought experiment. I'm like, I don't know what it would take to actually drive developers to that point, but I'm interested to get your take on it. I think miners will be interested. Like, okay, well, I can't mine Ethereum anymore. Ethereum Classic I can mine. Well, I'm moving my hash rate over there. Does that level of security bring developers? You tell me in the comment section. It's a balance, right? Security, speed, and flexibility, right? Those three things you juggle in the trilemma. John Hill is asking in the comment section, HXV hacked. Yes, covered that earlier on in the segment, and I won't be going back over it again, but you'll be able to see that in the replay. So yes, it was hacked. There was an exploit, and the team publicly got behind like a response that they had prepared, and they've taken some steps to help mitigate the loss for holders of Haven. However, it's a mixed bag, right? Having a team say that and do that does raise questions, serious questions about decentralization and censorship resistance and immutability, right? This is a bit of an issue. Everybody always likes to claim that their coin is decentralized. However, nobody likes to admit that there's somebody at the end of the day who is accepting pull requests and they control the code base. There is always a system of control. Always. Even if there's a degree of decentralization, there's always somebody who's approving pull requests, bare minimum, and who is working on the code base and who holds the reins, so to speak, to steer the direction that code base goes. So, yeah, anyway, don't want to dive down that rabbit hole too long. That's our top of the line for Team Green. Let's go to the bottom of the line and efficiency plays, starting with the 1060, moving to the 1660, the 2060, and the 3060 on the RTX models. And again, 12 cent power. We got Ethereum top of the stack again. It's great to hear it, great to see it. Ravencoin in a second right there. Firo, Ergo, Ethereum Classic. Guys, we're seeing, this is the finishers table, right? This is the finishers stand right here. I think we're going to see in the top three sort of depending on the coin or the card profile, I think we're going to see these 5 coins basically kind of rearranging the winners lineup, but with Ethereum in number 1 for today. Anyway, it's great to see, actually. I think it's a good sign for the health of the network right now. Top of the line for AMD, 6800 XT and 5700 XT. Get those two going right there. Ethereum, top. Ethereum Classic, second. Ravencoin, and then nice hash Copow after that, and then Ergo, but still all of those projects in the money, with Ergo showing tremendous promise as a protocol and as a part of a broader ecosystem within Cardano down the line. And we'll talk about that again in another video. Grin, CT32, down there below the fold. Didn't see that guy coming up. That's kind of interesting, but I don't know that I can take Grin particularly seriously right now. There's some issues there. We'll talk about it another time. 6700 XT, 5600 XT. So bottom of the line for the latest architecture from AMD. Ethereum Classic, Ravencoin, Ergo, Firo. Here we are, guys. And again, nice hash. You can't see me. I can't see you. No. Just don't. Again, guys, I'm not going to try to convince you, but I don't mind a nice hash anymore. I just don't. Personal choice. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm not going to do that. All right. That's the bottom line for AMD there. Top of the line for the Vega architecture, the Radeon 7. And, it's just so juicy, so amazing. Ethereum at almost $5.50, a little more than that. Ergo, Ethereum Classic, Ravencoin, but then Quark Chain down below and Beam. We're not seeing our last contender in the form of Firo. Interesting. Until way down below, it's at break even. That's very interesting. It says $0. It's just not mineable, I guess, on the Radeon 7. Interesting. Vega 56. So bottom of the line for the Vega architecture, and we've got top of the list Ergo, not Ethereum, and by a pretty wide margin. It's 66 cents more per day on Ergo than on Ethereum for the Vega 56. And it's significant, right? It's enough that most of us would consider just mining that. And then if we wanted to exchange for Ethereum at the end of the day, you're going to get 66 cents more Ethereum per GPU. That's awesome. That's a killer deal. So again, being as cutthroat as we sometimes are as miners looking for profits first, that might be the way to go, especially because Ethereum doesn't need your hash rate to secure it right now. That's what they're saying anyway, with this whole proposed fee burn and then the ultimate move to proof of stake. They're saying they don't really want our security. So shine them. If you got a mind to Ethereum, to Ergo, and you really feel strongly about Ethereum, why not just trade for it, right? So High on the list there. Ethereum Classic, Ravencoin down much lower for the Vega 56. 8 gig Polaris cards represented by the 580. Ethereum, top of the list, over $1.50 per day, $1.65. That's amazing. Ethereum Classic, $1.20, roughly. Ergo, over $1. Ravencoin, just under $1. And then Beam, about 50 cents, a little over 50 cents. So if you're into Beam and you really want to support that project, then that's an option for you as well. 4 gig cards represented by the 570. Ethereum Classic, top of the list, because we've only got the 4 gigs of memory. So we're not able to mine Ethereum there, but over $1 per day. That's still very impressive. Ravencoin on the list, higher than on the 8 gig cards, which is interesting to me. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe there's a performance benefit to having a slightly lower RAM volume because you don't have to worry about the how the overclock of your RAM affects your heat. I guess possibly there could be some performance alpha there by being on the 4 gig cards. Not totally sure what's happening there, but yeah. Interesting anyway. Ergo also on the winner stand at 99 cents, technically a little higher than Ravencoin in the profitability. And guys, just real talk, based on what I'm seeing and hearing so far about Ergo and the development prospects on top of Ergo and the ecosystem that affects Ergo, personally, I've got more hope of Ergo being the successor to Ethereum than Ravencoin. I'm going to leave Ethereum Classic out of the equation for right now, but Ergo versus Ravencoin, I see Ergo having legs. I see Ravencoin maybe struggling to keep up because of the lack of developer interest in Ravencoin right now. It's got a very interesting cult following, but I don't see developers saying like, you know what? I really want to develop on Ravencoin of all things. It's not happening. You see people who want to be a part of EVM compatible networks, which Cardano is supposed to be capable of. And so Ethereum Classic makes sense. Even Polkadot and Solana makes sense with the portability of Solidity code. But if developers aren't willing to develop on something, then I don't think that any amount of hash rate will make it more interesting to us in terms of price speculation. Doge being maybe an exception there, right? When the meme hit and everybody was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get my L3 pluses back online because they'll mine Doge more profitably than Litecoin. I mean, could you have imagined a year ago? I wouldn't have believed you, right? If you had told me. Yeah, if my crystal ball had told me that, I'd been like, yeah, this thing's broken. Get it out of here. So who knew, right? But my point is that, you know, without like trying to pick any winners here, personally, that's just totally what I'm doing right now. I still see Ergo. I hold it in maybe higher regard than Ravencoin. Ravencoin's a cool project. I just haven't seen it do a whole lot, right? So there you go. All right. 570, that's our 4 gig card. Let's jump down to the Fury just out of curiosity. Very first ever high bandwidth memory card by AMD. And Ravencoin is right there at 92 cents per day. So even higher than 4 gig Polaris cards. You're going to do phenomenally well on that Fury card. Guys, that's after the cost of power. People who like reply guys who are like, well, the Fury you really shouldn't be using it. It's not very efficient. It's like, bruh, there's profit over loss. Profit over costs. You're making money with it. So if you are paying a reasonable price for power and you've got good cooling and you're not damaging the environment, it's actually healthier to reuse old cards. You're going to save them from a landfill. There's quite a lot of benefit from seeing GPU mining profits go up. And that's one of the things is that you produce less e-waste by ensuring that these things stay in production. Kind of a cool thing to see. So Ravencoin high on the list, Ethereum Classic relatively high too, over 80 cents. And then Ergo, of course, making the list with Beam still at about 50 cents per day. So interesting to see it higher than anything else. And then just last but not least, just out of morbid curiosity, let's take up that R9 380, see what it does. Ethereum Classic, it's still making over 50 cents per day. Unbelievable. Like unreal that this thing is making any money at all. This is like almost the equivalent of like the 7000 series R9 or any of the other R9 cards, right? Like an ancient architecture with massive lithography process, like really thick circuit channels compared to today's tech. Still making money. Who would have guessed, right? Who knew? Checking in on the comment section, guys, I'm seeing Brand Central is asking about if anybody knows which ASICs mines SHA-3 algorithm, and CryptoMan responded. Thank you so much for answering comments and the replies there, guys. Definitely helps out. Saying I searched and could not find any. Maybe they're not being produced just yet. I think that's the case, but don't quote me. There could be some FPGA bit streams that do it very efficiently, but yeah, maybe no ASICs just yet. Marius DeCock says, Ethereum Classic till I'm 50. Yeah, but here's his dirty little secret. He's 49 and his birthday is next month. These are the jokes, guys. Just deal with it. Brand Central says, yeah, I searched also, said they might be coming soon. And then there we go. You guys are getting to that same point. FPGA appear when I was looking, so maybe those will rear thetheir heads again. I'm not well versed in SHA-3 to know enough. Yeah, guys, FPGAs are extremely flexible, and this is why people like FPGAs still. Some people out there. So if you're into that sort of thing, great. I moved away because I really want to stick with GPUs and the decentralization of GPUs, right? A gamer in a secondary market in some place that we've never heard of and that maybe we don't go travel to very frequently, that gamer with their rig may be able to contribute to some of these coins, and they might be out earning their parents with what these GPUs are earning in that market. So the incentive for them is very strong to mine with just like one GPU in a rig randomly, and it decentralizes the network by that much more, having hash rate come from an IP address in some obscure place on a continent that we don't normally think about contributing to blockchain. Kind of a big deal. I like GPUs a lot for that reason, and FPGAs do not fit that requirement for me. They don't fill that gap in decentralization of hash rate in my mind. GPUs are just a lot better. CPUs, not bad either, but GPUs are a unique value proposition in that they're much higher performance, and you're never going to get around it. Anything a CPU can do that requires parallel processing and fast memory, there's a GPU out on the market now that can do it better. And usually you just have to rewrite a little bit of that hashing algorithm and the program that addresses it to be able to get it to fit onto a GPU versus a CPU. It's not impossible, put it that way. So I like that about it. Let's see. CryptoMan says, well said. Sometimes we lose sight. It's not always about us, but that crypto enables everyone with the ability to accumulate wealth. I agree. And that's what fair launches are supposed to do, right? Like when people say, oh, it's proof of stake, we're going to airdrop one coin on every citizen throughout the world. It's like, yeah, you're going to disrupt entire markets by giving a person in lower Manhattan one coin, the same coin that somebody in sub-Saharan Africa gets. Those are not equivalent markets. They're not. The cost of rent, the cost of food, the cost for a gallon of milk, if you can get it. So like, these are not the same. You can't treat crypto exactly the same in every market. Somebody's ability to buy one GPU and have it, or have even a laptop with something that will hash at all and earn rewards from it, that is kind of it's going to be different everywhere. Well, Philip is asking the important questions down in the comment section. How many pounds do you bench? LOL. Well, it's been a little while since I've bothered with 3-plate tests or 1-rep maxes and stuff, so I couldn't tell you my 1-rep max, but I'm very comfortable doing the NFL Combine test with 225 and for reps or whatever. So I consistently rep 225 because it's safe for me. I'm not going to like blow out my shoulder or anything. Wait a second. I've got a background video going, don't I? Boop. I totally had music the entire time, didn't I? Was that helpful? Do you guys like that music? Oh my gosh, I'm just now noticing, like on my settings, I just cut it. Is that worse? Is it weird having me just talk just like this? Should I just have the music back? That'd be better? Pretty good synthwave, right? Anyway, so that was kind of weird. I didn't even notice, guys. I'm so sorry. My mixer was just out of control there. Like, OBS gone wild. Whoa. So guys, better with the music. Thumbs up for the music. Thumbs down. Or give me a microphone emoji, I guess, if you want just the mic. But thumbs up for music. Let me know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got some people saying it wasn't bad. I didn't expect that. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit though, guys. A few decibels. So it's gonna be real low. Is that all right? All right. Okay. Music real low. I guess we're doing something new now. All right. Nope. No problem. It doesn't bother me because I don't have it coming through. Limitless combo. Well, now you made it awkward. I know. What do I do with my hands? Music. Okay. Anyway, guys, I appreciate that. Hey, Crypto Mikkel, good to see you in the comments, brother. I think I'm going to be there tonight for Fireball Friday. Oh, man. I think I'm going to be there tonight for Fireball Friday. Getting misty-eyed, man. I don't want to have to do this, but we need to send off Savage Mine together, I think. So I think I'm going to be there tonight for Fireball Friday. I'll just join in on the chat. Not gonna live stream here, I don't think. But I'll just join you guys briefly and get that done tonight. Send them off correctly. Guys, if you haven't been hashing for Savage, his family is going to receive those funds. His family's going to receive those funds. It's going directly to his family. So we know the custodian that's taking care of handling the crypto funds and the GoFundMe. They're a trusted individual, and we know that those funds are going to go to Savage Mine's family. So we got the memorial live streams tonight, where Savage Mine used to do his Fireball Fridays. There are going to be a couple of channels like DCA Adventure and Crypto Mikkel who are going to be broadcasting tonight. And in Savage Mine's honor, we'll be closing off the hash rate raise and the donations. That'll be kind of the end. Yeah, Crypto Mikkel, I hear you, man. I don't want to make grief a spectacle either, like that doesn't honor him very well. So gotta just yeah, right. It's been a rough week. It's been an emotional week. Some of us in private chats and DMs, we were talking about kind of Savage Mine's condition and offering him well wishes and on live streams and such. And then we started the hash rate contest last weekend and getting people mining to Ethereum. You can see links in the description of this video if you want to contribute, point a couple of rigs to that. You'll see one of my rigs. I've got an 80 some odd mega hash rig that's pointing at that little hash rate raise. It's been doing that for about a week now, and I guess we're shutting that down tonight, and then wrapping it up with a bow, and then handing that off to Savage Mine's family soon. So today's the last day. If you're thinking about doing it, guys, be generous. Really, be generous. You hurt no one by being as generous as possible. Not to get too corny on you guys, but Tony Robbins says that giving is living. Let's do that for Savage, guys. Let's live for Savage. Let's give and let's live for Savage. So getting back into the show, though, guys. So tonight we're going to have that live stream. Check it out on DC Adventure. You see Crypto Mikkel in the comments here. You can follow him as well. You'll find out exactly when that's going to happen. It'll be all over YouTube. And then I will post it in, I think, probably my community as well as on Twitter as well. On Twitter. So it'll be all over. We'll announce that. Let me jump out of the way, though. Take a look at this last bit of profitability here on GPUs. And yeah, tonight, guys, tune in. Anywhere you see Fireball Friday, tune in and pay your respects. This will be our community send off to Savage Mine. But that's what to mine in a nutshell, guys. We'll take a look at our CoinGecko portfolios in just a minute here. First, let's check out, guys, if you haven't seen this tool, let me link this to you in the live comments. This is a tool offered by Brains OS. It's a third-party OS or firmware that you can flash onto some of your ASIC mining rigs, and it'll help you increase your performance. It's supposed to be really, really good at overclocking and fine tuning your Bitcoin mining ASICs. So that's where this tool comes from. I'm going to go to just a bare bones Antminer S9 and show you the base hash rate for that. This is the tool that we're using. Okay. Kevin Hawthorne. Hey, good to see you in the comment section, man. Thanks for tuning in. And I appreciate you always tuning in from Lakeland, Florida, and I appreciate all that you do, man. So scrolling down, the cost to mine one Bitcoin, you got to be at least 10 cent power, exactly 10 cent power or below in order to mine profitably on the S9 right now. If you were at 3 cent power, it would cost you only $10,000 to mine one Bitcoin. If we up that to 12 cent power, it no longer makes sense. We're mining one full Bitcoin at a cost of $40,000 US. Now, if Bitcoin goes back over $40,000, it's not wasted effort, right? But if it doesn't, then that gamble will not have paid off. Just so you're aware. If you're looking at people who are saying I just bought 100 S9s and they're bragging about it, you better have really cheap power or you're going to be hating life in 6 months. So better make those S9s work out fast because they might not work out forever. Or have them on free power somewhere on the side of a volcano, right? Wink, wink. El Salvador. But $40,000 US to mine on that Antminer S9. Jump over to What's Miner, go with the M20S. That's kind of our baseline standard, guys. It's got 68 terahashes as its performance level. And now at 12 cent power, you're into something that actually makes sense. You've got break even at 17.3 cents per kilowatt hour. So even in more expensive markets, you can probably make that work. It's going to be just fine. And you're going to be mining one full Bitcoin at $23,000, even on 12 cent power. to make that situation even better, if you can get down to something like 8 cents per kilowatt hour, which again is doable in US markets. It's not common, but you can find it. And in almost every industrial area of almost every state, you're going to find somebody somewhere who's paying close to that rate. So it's doable. It's achievable in almost all of the lower 48, like continental United States. But at that rate, you're mining a full Bitcoin for $15,000. Far better value proposition. And even if Bitcoin drops below 20K on that mining rig, that cost for power, you're going to do okay. Even if we see another correction downward, after we get through these 30s, if we dip even lower, you're going to be fine. On the S9, you're not going to be so comfortable. But on something like the M20S, you're going to do great. But that's our cost to mine one Bitcoin, guys. Let's look over at our portfolios on CoinGecko. I love the way that they added this, being able to have your own portfolio and track it just natively there instead of having to create custom spreadsheets, which I've done in the past and I'm happy to do again. This is more convenient in my mind. So scrolling down, we see let me get into one of our portfolios first. GPU portfolio, our total P&L, we're down 30.55%. Top of the list is RenBTC. We're not above the $1,000 mark of what we put into this portfolio. If you're new to the show, there are $1,000 of paper money put into every single one of these coins the day that we add it to a portfolio. And we've been tracking it for some time now, so we can see over time what the price fluctuation is like. If we just bought these coins, or if we acquired a roughly $1,000 USD equivalent payout from an ASIC rig or a GPU rig or a CPU rig or a hard drive mining rig. So just wanted to make it clear that we're doing an apples to apples comparison. Every single one of these coins started with $1,000, and we want to check to see where they are today. So with that said, RenBTC and Wrapped Bitcoin are on top of the list for GPU. Why are they on the GPU list in the first place? You might be asking, like, why would you have BTC on a GPU list? Well, RenBTC and Wrapped Bitcoin, WBTC, are actually Ethereum tokens. So if you're already in the DeFi space, you can swap Ethereum on something like Uniswap permissionlessly for RenBTC or Wrapped Bitcoin. That's why they're on the list. People may be interested in the price action of Bitcoin over Ethereum. And this kind of proves why you might be interested, right? You're at from the $1,000, you're only down by about $100 or 9% versus in Ethereum natively down by almost 12%. This is why some people choose to take their mining profits from Ethereum and natively flip into Bitcoin, either on some kind of decentralized exchange or swap like or liquidity provider like Thorchain, or a no KYC exchange, or using a permissionless AMM to have wrapped tokens or wrapped representations of Bitcoin like this. People are interested in it for that reason. Conceal is high on the list as well. Great job. They were very low before, but let's go to the bottom of the list, see who our biggest losers are. And right now it's still Haven with a 77% dump after the news that I mentioned before. Guys, it hurts to see. You don't like to see it, but when coins get attacked like this, when networks get attacked like this, it shakes investor confidence and it shakes miner confidence too. We saw this happen with Ethereum Classic on a couple of occasions as well, right? Where several of us were like, okay, well, they got hacked again. I'm probably not going to mine that for a while, right? I mean, it's shaking out a lot of air quotes weak hands. You have to really believe in the vision of a coin to, after you see a 77% dip, say like, is this a value buy? Or is this a coin network bleeding out and passing into the night, so to speak? Like, is it just going away? Will it ever recover again? So you have to have that kind of conviction to be able to say like, oh, cool, 77% drawdown. Maybe I buy some now, right? There are going to be some people who actually believe that if there's liquidity left on exchanges, which as of right now, I don't know if Haven can do that. Right? Based on what they've said, they've frozen a lot in a lot of places, so they might not be trading anywhere. But if it were, some people would view this as a buy signal, right? That really intense discount. Swap is nearly at 60% down. Not sure why. Have not been following Swap very closely, but there's a lot of chop right there in the Swap. Swap in the chop, baby. Yeah. And it bears mentioning while we just have these two side by side, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of the history of Swap. We got a good community now, really, really nice community. They originally started, if you don't know their history, as a project called Freehaven. And they were started as a bit of an antithetical project to Haven. And there was a bit of bad blood between their original developer over at Swap and the original development team over at Haven, where they said it's impossible. They'll never be able to do what they say they're going to do. Lo and behold, the Haven team wound up delivering on their offshore promises. Prim says, I thought it was XHV. Yes, Haven is XHV, but Swap was originally started as Freehaven. So the ticker symbol XWP was originally conceived of as Freehaven and then rebranded. But they started off as a riff on Haven, and then I don't know what happened after that point, but I personally just think they've kind of lost a little bit of direction there. They're almost at $250,000 total in market cap. It's very hard to take seriously right now, and it's very sad to see that they were so mean-spirited against the Haven team. Well, look at what happens when you've got conviction and real vision. They're at almost 45 million in market cap after a 77% dip. 77% dip made them already over 100 times more valuable than the project that started trying to make fun of them and trying to kick them when they were down 2 years ago. I think there's a lesson in there somewhere. I'm not going to preach at you guys, but anyway, the numbers don't lie. There they are. So there's Haven at the bottom of the stack, biggest dip right there. But especially as that news came out, huge dip downward that is totally decorrelated from all other assets right there. Right, nothing has that same curve. If anything, they've got a bit of a head and shoulders they've gone through, while Haven has had like an inverse head and shoulders there with that intense dip there. So Francisco says, had to go, but it was nice to watch the live stream. Love you, viewers. Hey, appreciate that, Francisco. Thank you so much for jumping in live. It means a lot. Thank you. So yeah, see just kind of the general trends. Everything else kind of followed that same approximate trend. Ethereum a little bit, again, decorrelated. Doesn't have exactly that head and shoulders, more like a double top right there. And just interesting to see. Conceal also doing its own thing with a massive spike upwards, maybe mirroring that top right there with the other assets, but not quite the same. Flux, also a strange like pulling motion. So like triple top instead of a head and shoulders there, channeling upwards and now ranging sideways. Ethereum Classic doing Ethereum Classic things. I don't know what that shape is, right? And guys, I don't pretend to be some kind of technical analyst. I'm just taking a look at big trends and big arcs in some of these price movements and in some of these charts, and just trying to make a little bit of sense of them after the fact while evaluating them through the lens of the news. That makes sense to me, guys. More fundamentals, just a little bit for right now. Going to continue to learn my technical analysis tools just so that I'm using the right lingo and I'm not being confusing. Yeah, at least speaking the same language as other people who are interested in this asset class. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. Matic Ave interest bearing wrapped ETH. Whoo, so weird. Such a weird name. It's hard to say. Looks like it's doing its own thing as well. Polygon down with also like a much sharper head over shoulders there, but not very clear shoulders on that formation there. So Polygon not having its best day, but conversely, very cheap. And a lot of people have a lot of hope in it doing well. Ravencoin, Conflux. Dang, Conflux is just like, that's crazy too. What's going on there? Firo, a little closer to what you see in Bitcoin. Mimblewimble also all over the map, but tons of loss here, guys, way down 30 plus % across all of those. Let's move from our GPU portfolio into hard drives and quickly see what we've got there. Anytime now. There it goes. So MadeSafe coin again. This is the hero we deserve, I guess. We've got Signum. What the heck? What am I missing here? We had a full rebrand. Good grief. Burst rebranded to Signum. How did I miss this, guys? That's huge. Did you know about that? I didn't know about that. Did you know about that? Wow. Okay, so Burst is rebranded. There's that. But still above $1,000 that we put in. It's actually positive. Total P&L for the portfolio is 7.42%, but clearly that's largely because of MadeSafe coin still doing much better than the negative performance of Chia, which is still in above 60% dip at even below $300 per coin. So Chia is, I wouldn't call it, it's not wrecked or whatever, but now it's been forked enough that there's a lot of shaken confidence, even among the formerly loyal miners and farmers of Chia. Don't know what's going on there, guys, other than just people are tired of being told that there would be pools, and the official pooling protocol is over a month late. And, you know, it is what it is. When you take a bunch of investor money, too, and then you also do a pre-mine, supposedly because of your investors, it can shake a lot of confidence for miners when they see that you don't really need them in order to build some kind of a project or some kind of a product. You can just do your own thing. You don't really need their participation per se. All right, Filecoin is not doing great either. Same with Storage. They're 20% down, but Chia is really dipping low. If we didn't have Chia in this portfolio, it would be weighted so much higher. It's just dragging it down over 30 basis points lower than even the next entrant, which is Siacoin, which I've heard warnings from other people is not the best thing to have in a portfolio right now. But it's only 30% down, 32% down versus Chia's 65. Ouch. Moving down the list, we got CPU mineable coins, and we've kept it just to this very short list of 4 projects. Total P&L, negative 31.95%. Raptorium, still top of the stack. Monero in second, but it's 8 points lower. Veriscoin at almost 50% down, and Wownero right there with Veriscoin. Really down in the dumps right now. So, but all of these are in the multi-million-dollar market cap mark. Raptorium may be the exception there. Don't know what the full market cap is today, but it's a very small, nascent project. However, the development team, they're not new, and they're not going away. So they've been here for a couple of years, and I know they intend to continue to work on this project until they achieve their vision. So something to look into there, guys. It's leading the pack there. ASIC mineable coins, top of the list is Decred. What? I did not expect that. Only down 2%. Interesting. Don't know what's going on with Decred or why it might be the case, but it's at the top of the stack. Very bottom of the stack is Pirate Chain with 48%. And now, yeah, I don't know what's happening with this downward channel. Or with this weird plateau here, almost a head and shoulders formation before trending downward, but it seems totally out of tune with the rest of the market. You guys see that, right? Those charts there. So without knowing the specific news that may be affecting Pirate Chain right now, they're clearly trending downward, and I don't know why. The total P&L is negative 26.26%, and CryptoMan says Pirate made a massive reversal, and yeah, I see that. But in the last episode, I mentioned that it had a very strange spike, and it looked almost artificially propped up, almost artificially supported by some kind of wash trading or some kind of whales manipulating it in some way. It just didn't seem like it was correlated to anything else on our ASIC mineable list, and I wasn't sure why. This is not me saying that I'm trying to pick a winner here or that I'm trying to discourage anybody from mining Pirate Chain. If what you see for your old Zcash mining ASICs is that Pirate Chain is the best thing to mine, then you mine it. That's awesome. So CryptoMan is making me aware in the comment section of an exchange listing. Apparently, Pirate was listed on KuCoin. He says once they listed on KuCoin, they popped, and then it appears death. Well, this is a typical exchange listing look, right? To see something like move way up, maybe get washed a bit, and then start to trend down. Totally makes sense to me. That logic tracks. Thanks for letting me know. But still, bottom of the stack for our list here, and for your for your ZEC mineable ASICs, it looks like Zcash natively has held its value a little better than Horizon or Pirate Chain, which would all be mined by the same ASICs, right? So CryptoMan is saying June 21st was the listing date and increase. That tracks. Hank, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. I think my last episode I talked about it, and it was after the 21st, so that makes a lot more sense now. And Bummer, guys, but we will find support at some point. Maybe not today. Pirate Chain, they seem like good dudes. They seem like a good team. Love to have Draith back on the channel sometime for us to talk about that. And specifically, have Draith on the channel with somebody from the Monero community and with Mark Moss. I think that having a privacy-oriented conversation with Mark Moss and talking about the different approaches between ZK Snarks versus the ring signatures, stealth addresses, and other privacy-preserving technologies like Dandelion++ that are used in Monero, be really great to educate somebody who's kind of a heavy-hitting investor whisperer in the space. You've already got Dollar Vigilante, right? Jeff Berwick, who's kind of a fan of both Monero and Pirate Chain. I think we need more mind share from people like Mark Moss to be able to champion privacy and articulate really good arguments and have some more advocacy out in the mainstream space with dudes like that. You guys let me know in the comment section, and better still, go hit up Draith over in the Pirate Chain Discord, and go hit up any Monero community members like Seth Simmons if you're watching, or anybody else, Justin if you're watching as well from the Monero community. If you want to make that happen, I'd love to help kind of facilitate the conversation. I won't say ref. Everyone is grown up in these two camps, right? You don't need to have like weird childish back and forth about who's best and, fighting over our little corner of the crypto sandbox. We can debate, right? Like adults. I hate seeing maxis fight in the other spaces. In privacy, we don't need to, right? Privacy coins, we don't need to fight because you can't prove that we hold any anyway, right? What are you fighting about? So anyway, but down at the bottom of the list, Pirate Chain, surprisingly, Bytecoin doing quite well, which is kind of a pain. Speaking of privacy-oriented coins that were probably scams at some point, probably proven scams at some point, massive pre-mine there. But that's the end of our list, guys, for the ASIC portfolio as well. Clearly, the rebrand from Burst Coin to Signum is kind of a big deal. Don't really know why they felt they needed to do that, but they went to Signum Network. I want to check out their homepage just because they made a change. And I want to kind of like ingrain that in my mind. Okay, cookies. Fine. Signum, the blockchain, the cryptocurrency, and Signa, the symbol or ticker. Do I play it, guys? Should I play it? Should I do it? I'm going to do it. Great. Now my audio source is not correct either. Properties, come here. Come here, darn you, because you guys can't hear my desktop audio.
The world is full of energy-hungry giants. They have always been there.
In a world
consuming our resources,
where energy-hungry giants
all sorts
start to burn nuclear silos.
We were small, but sustainable.
We're pouring water on a little seedling.
Remember,
Eyeballs.
we were like a thought.
Do you walk the line? I do.
Nowhere.
Amongst the redwoods.
We knew it was more important to be
Glasses man is alarmed.
than to simply follow the crowd. As long as we kept
I'm so
a cool
tired of all of
head,
it.
as long as we worked hard, trusted ourselves, listened to
I
our
love the sun.
heart, then our day would come.
I really love the sun.
We wait until they become sluggish.
Evil city.
Wait until they
Upside
are so
down city
flat
man.
that they can hardly react. And then we come out into the light.
And kill them all. What's up, Chump Change?
Walk
Thanks
silent
for saying hello down in the comment section. It's Cadmus Everdeen.
and strike.
Oh, bullseye in the wicker basket thing. Oh, it hurts.
Unstoppable.
Like a tsunami.
The movement.
Join the bowel movement.
Signum.
Signum? I hardly even know him. All right. So, guys, what do you think? Interesting. Marketing videos are just funny, guys, right? Aren't they just funny by themselves? I didn't really need to do any commentary, but like, they didn't tell us anything about the coin at all. In 2 minutes, they managed to just like string together a bunch of stock footage and like weird videos and orchestral hits like boom. I felt like I was watching a like Tenet or something, right? I can't even think of his name. A Chris Nolan movie, right? This trailer brought to you by Chris Nolan. Signum. Come get some Signum. Or you destroy, or you hate the earth. All right, I don't quite believe that. But it is cool they rebranded. Crypto Man is saying, are links allowed in chat? They are not. Links are not allowed in chat, guys, because of spammers, scammers, and con artists. It's too bad. Yeah, so promos are just promos, guys. I'm not hating. But it's fun to make fun of them because promos are promos. Like, all being what they are, promos are just silly, right? It's just weird. Anyway, so they did rebrand, and we'll have to look that up at another time. And it's good to know. Good to know that's the case, guys. Let me end today's episode with a little bit of a chart right here. Just want to show that we're still in that channel that I talked about last time. And shout out to CTO Larson for bringing this channel to my attention. This is like the trend. Since the beginning of the bull run, we are all the way off to the left. No. Mir asks, will Cigna save us all? No. One man will save us all. And the tool he will use is Cigna. Music jumps back in. Isn't that good? You guys like that? That's a good touch. All right. So here we are back at this chart. And we've got that sideways channel right here down in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. Again, it broke out a little bit, but it didn't really successfully. It was rejected basically at above that, somewhere almost 42,000. But I'm just going to say we're at nearly 40,000 here. I could probably move that line up, and we've found resistance at the bottom somewhere closer to 30,000. And zooming back in to closer to today, right? Title card, present day, 2 minutes later. And we see that this trend has just continued. We're still just ranging in this channel. And Bitcoin's just like, yep, I will not be moved. There's nothing you can say. The Crypto Man says, with a little fine tuning, you could do voice acting. Haha. Yeah, it's probably true. That's probably true. Of all the other things that I probably should have done instead of getting involved in cryptocurrency, catch 22, because that would prove that I'm sane getting away from cryptocurrency, but it would prove that I'm literally insane by not being involved in cryptocurrency, but not at least holding some, right? Weird thing, but thank you. I appreciate that. I feel seen. Jumping back out though, guys, we've got this range, this channel, we're moving in sideways. And yes, there's a smaller pattern here. I'm not even going to pretend to have the vocabulary to address what this movement is supposed to indicate at this point. And I'm not going to put any kind of fib levels on this because I want to stay true to you guys. I don't really know what I'm doing there. So I don't even want to make a guess, like a hazard a bad guess at what's going on there. Just want to show you that channel. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I get the background audio when I'm there. So guys, that's your market mining market signal for today. Personally, this is why I still feel good about dollar cost averaging, guys, is because we've been dollar cost averaging all throughout here. And it's coming about the same. It's kind of a wash, right? Moving above 40,000, all of our dollar cost average money will go up, and moving back into this upper performance channel of between $50,000 and $60,000, we'll be very happy having dollar cost average at this range down here, right? That's not exactly a value buy. Like, we're not seeing some weird flash crash like how we saw before, like massive red downward candle where we can like scoop up tons of beautiful cheap Bitcoin or anything. And I think that a lot of the other altcoins are following this general trend as well, right? When Bitcoin sneezes, all crypto catches a cold. Full stop. Any cryptos that don't, something's wrong. In my opinion, something's wrong. There's probably some manipulation elsewhere because Bitcoin is the store of value. It's the de facto gold standard to everything else that the cryptocurrency and blockchain industries create or what they're trying to make. They really do need to be rails on which Bitcoin is intended to travel, right? Like, if they don't have that in mind or they can't facilitate that, then in my opinion, there's something not quite right. Even Monero has chosen to do atomic swaps to Bitcoin, really hedging its future with Bitcoin, like hitching its wagon to the Bitcoin star in that way. So anyway, guys, that's the episode. I really appreciate you being here live. Really appreciate the playbacks, the thumbs ups. Thank you. Appreciate when they come in the super chats. Those are always nice, guys. Not required. Like Batman, you don't have to thank me. You're never going to have to thank me for this, but showing up and engaging by asking good questions and answering, that's why we do this, right? It's for each other, it's to support each other, help to learn more, help to grow more, be better at this crypto thing, especially at mining, making better choices. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving me feedback. And thanks for clicking all the buttons, guys. It helps out a lot. You're the reason I made this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.